like just like flashing old ladies, like, oh my god, it was insane. Yeah. We're rolling. All right. Well, hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Tour Talk, your favorite talk show about the ASP World Tour, your only talk show about the ASP World Tour. We are going to be talking about the Volcom Fiji Pro. That's June 3rd through the 15th. That's on Tavarua, Fiji. It's going to be an awesome contest. But first, let me introduce you to my guests. Joe Turpel was on the very first episode of Tour Talk. Joe Turpel, commentator extraordinaire, just got back from Brazil from the World Tour event down there. Did you have a good time?
Oh, it was a blast. Yeah. Always a good time in Brazil.
Yeah, I'm sure. Unless you actually had to surf in the contest. The waves looked insane. Next to me right here, full-on surf nerd. This guy has a boner for surfing. He loves it. He's also Olympic commentator, X Games commentator, and one of the best commentators that I've heard in the box at the Quick Pro New York, Todd Richards. Oh, and he was a world champion snowboarder.
Thanks, Chris.
Yeah, and he's learning how to do airs.
Yeah.
So
baby steps.
Yeah. Our next guest is actually going to be helping with that. This is pretty awesome, and this makes me really stoked. Josh Kerr, right now sitting at number 3 in the world, right there. After Brazil, you got 3rd place down there. Dude, I'm like so excited that surfers that I love to watch are that high. How does it feel? 3rd in the world. You are the 3rd best surfer in the world.
Yeah, I'm pretty stoked. I'm pretty high about it too, I guess.
Hell yeah. I like that. Good reaction. Well, let's get to the event. So right now, the long-range forecast is looking very, very solid. The first few days right now, Magic Seaweed is saying June 3rd. Looks like it's going to be about 10 feet all day with 7 to 8 foot days to follow so far on the forecast. Cloud break is no joke when it gets to that size. Last year we saw huge waves coming in for those super swell days. There hasn't been a contest there since 2008. Kersey going into this event, forecast looking solid. We've seen what cloud break is capable of. What's your mindset going over to Tavarua?
That was the first I've heard of any of the forecasts.
Well, there you go. You should know this stuff.
I'm just going, okay, keep going. Now I know what boards to take, I guess. Yeah, that's epic because now it kind of evens out the playing field. I find that cloud breaks, tends to the goofy footers at that 4 to 6 foot range really like a lot. So hopefully we can get above that 6 foot range and get some real barrels out there. And it kind of sets everyone aside, and it's just kind of that go for it attitude, and that's what I like. For sure. I think like cloud break is one of these waves that when you see it in photos and you watch like pros surf it on video, it looks so perfect. But I mean, we actually went there 2 years ago, and
it's a different
scary
sport.
wave.
It's such a different sport than the one I do here in Southern California.
Yeah, I mean cloud break. It's by no means a perfect wave unless you're Josh Kerr, right?
Well, I mean it's deceptively easy. I mean, you can probably attest to it too, to get in. But then once you get in, you realize that I've got to get the hell out of here. You're like parking it in the barrel. I'm trying to get the hell away from the wave, But there's something weird for myself going backside there to be able to see everything that you could potentially get raked across is not.
Just looking down at the car.
Not a confidence builder.
Right. Yeah. I mean, like when you're out there, the wave comes in from super far out. Freight trains, and you catch it, and it's maybe this big, and then as it goes down the line, it's a grower, and if you get caught inside, you're getting rolled. Have you had experience out of cloud break?
I actually have never been there before, but just watching the swell they had last year in July, kind of during that J-Bay contest, it's pretty gnarly to see like waves that size, and the guys who want a piece of it, they're all the big wave helmet, and think about having a wave like that on tour, like. I'm just thinking, what if it gets anywhere close to that size of a swell, Guys are going to have, like, huge boards, and it's going to really be some people, like, kind of scared to check in for their heats.
I'm sure. I mean, we actually just talked to Nathan Fletcher about, kind of about his waves at Cloud Break and his waves at Chopo. He's claiming Cloud Break is gnarlier than Chopo. And, and Albie Layer was in here yesterday talking about the same thing. Chopo, obviously the gnarliest wave ever, but... once you're out, you're out. Cloud break, you've been caught inside there at cloud break?
Yeah, it's just got that, comes out of that deeper water. It's a way bigger playing field. It's not like a straight ledge that just kind of sucks up and grinds across the reef. It's like, it almonds it blows open, it pinches, it does it all to you. Even in heat, it's going to be confusing. That's why I want it to be big, so it kind of just starts on the outside ledge and we kind of can play around from there.
Definitely. Now, let's get into this thing. Right now on the World Tour as it sits, the top 5 is looking very solid. Some common names, some uncommon names. Parko's 1, Mick is 2, that man is 3, Adriano 4, Taj and John are sitting in equal 5th. 3 events in, I know you've watched each one closely, and you can just imagine Josh isn't here.
Okay.
Will our world champ come from this top 5?
Yes. It's hard because
Slater's 8.
Cali's 8. Yeah, that's just the factor there. And with Cali being out, you know, he'd missed J-Bay last year. Brazil was his throwaway anyways also. So it's hard to say that. We were also kind of saying this could be John's year, a rookie to compete for a world title in his first year, because winning Brazil, that was an event he wasn't really supposed to win, I guess. He wasn't feeling like he was supposed to. Then you're like, okay, Fiji and Tahiti are next. You know, he could easily win both of those. So with those guys in the top 5, Parko, I think he's made the quarters in the past. Mick, he's made the quarters in the past. Josh Kerr, this is your first call-up.
Fiji
event ever. So that's going to be cool. And then Adriano's made a semi, I think, in 08. So he kind of, you know, Adriano likes to improve on spots. He's kind of still, he's getting that momentum kind of behind him. So going back to that world title question, I think you have to wait to see what Cali does later.
Yeah. I mean, super early in the year, Josh, I don't even want to ask, but world title, is this something, you know, right now, like you're sitting high, you're stoked on 3rd, there's 2 spots to go to number 1. Is that like factor at all when you're going into an event? Do you think about that, or am I just jinxing the hell out of it?
It's the last thing I'm thinking about is a world title, man. That's like so far away on my plate. I'm coming back on like 3rd right now, and it feels like every day I've been doing interviews for other people, and it's just like, imagine if you're number 1, that'd be a nightmare. Every day doing interviews.
It's almost
easier. A publicist, that would suck.
It seems like it's easier to be number 1 because, all right, you're there, but everyone else is asking you because what is it going to take to overtake this guy? Yeah.
I'm not planning on taking number 1, man. I'm just having fun, stoked where I'm at, and enjoying every heat. I'd be stoked to see John just flare through. I mean, talking to someone else about going, imagine if he could just laugh his way into a world title accidentally, you know? Like,
yeah, I mean,
so he wasn't meant to win Brazil, but we all knew he could have won Brazil. Even if the waves are crap, good, whatever. He's like a freak.
He just like became, you know, everyone loved how he surfed, but he just became like overnight sensation, basically, you know, like John now, it's like you and I talk about it all the time. We're like full-grown man fans.
Yeah, it would be full man fan. It's just for myself, like you watch, like I do all 3 sports, so I watch John, and I know he's a really good skater. I've snowboarded with him before, and it's just that casual style in the water that like kind of goes across all 3 sports. Like there's not a lot of unnecessary movement, and I know like in snowboarding, it's all about keeping your upper body quiet. In skating, you know, there's a little bit of flair, but in surfing, you're using your upper body to push, and I think
a lot of arms.
Right, John has like figured out this way to push through all of his turns with minimal amounts of. There's not a lot of extra like flare flying out the back. Like he initiates the turns, holds it, and then falls through, and then it's into another body position that locks, and he does it. And then once he gets in the air, it's the same.
Yeah, most coaches, they say he's very technically imperfect.
Exactly,
but on the
right,
face,
yeah.
you know?
Right, yeah.
But it works so well, you know, like, and that's the rawness of surfing there. That's what makes our sport cool, is styles and all that kind of stuff. You know, there is no perfect way to do it. It's all different. It's an art, you know?
I think
his art's very cool.
We've seen this year, like, you know, almost like the overcoaching might not be the way to go. The seriousness on the World Tour. I surfed with you the other morning. He's smiling the whole time. Same thing with like John. These guys, like, oh, you know, with Parko, he does look very serious, but it almost seems like he's starting to have more fun because he's like letting go of the pressure, and I think that's showing in the events.
Yeah, I think John just kind of relies off his instincts in heats. He's not a guy that you always see like waiting for people to tell him, okay, sit here, sit there. He'll just kind of go out and see what happens. And those instincts you had that heat with him, Josh, over in Brazil, and like in less than a minute and a half, he got 2 barrels that were like, wait, how did that just happen? He does that all the time.
The waves changed. There wasn't barrels out there, and then what do you know? He's like sitting on 18 points or something in 2 minutes. Like, really, what just happened?
What